Hello everyone, my name's Debbie Ryan. I'm partner and director at Impact and Invest. I'm delighted to be able to bring you an interview today with one of our latest partners, which is Paolo Casamassima from Bighous. Hello Paolo, how are you?
Hi Debbie, I'm fine. How are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. So we're going to be talking a little bit about Bighous today. Perhaps you could give us a little bit of background about you and the company in general.
Okay. Well, hi everyone. I'm Paolo Casamassima. I'm a British Italian. I've lived in the UK for the last 13 years. I'm a Cambridge University graduate. I have 14 years experience in financial services and investment industry and about 10 years of real estate experience. I've worked in different countries while being based in the UK. I've also been temporarily relocated in France, Italy, United States, South Africa, and Philippines. And since very young, I've always had a call for helping others. This is probably something that I picked up from my uncle Francesco, which is my mom's brother. He always helped others, and I've always seen him helping others since I was probably 2 or 3 years old. I currently sponsor 5 children in developing countries. And when I was at university, I started helping homeless, taking them usually to my place for a meal and a shower. When I then worked in France, I volunteered for the Salvation Army, serving meals to homeless. But I would say that the idea of Bighous came while I was working in South Africa, actually, in 2007. I was relocated there for work for a longer period of time, for about 10 months. And during that time, I did, first of all, my first crowdfunding. And that was just a charity sort of crowdfunding. So I raised money to distribute food to the homeless on a daily basis. Okay. And one day I was speaking to a homeless person and we started talking about this idea of building homes for the homeless people. The idea was that you would take homeless and get them to build their own homes with government funding and create a system. Anyway, well, the idea stayed there. It wasn't possible to do anything of sort in South Africa. And I returned to the UK with the idea in the back of my mind.
A great blend of skills there as well, and much to be applauded. Is this how Bighous developed?
I think it's almost, that's when the idea started. The idea was in the back of my mind then. And one day I was assessing the purchase of a homeless shelter in Liverpool. It was the first time I was looking to do buy-to-let investment, and I thought I would want to do it rather than just buying and letting it to normal people. I wanted to do something more impactful, and I wanted to do something with charity and real estate. That were my 2 passions. I went to see this shelter in Liverpool that I found for sale. The shelter was in an appalling condition, and I thought, I'm going to buy this shelter and I'm going to renovate it so that I'm going to make the life of people living in the shelter a little bit more enjoyable. Unfortunately, I didn't succeed in buying that shelter because I also realized how complicated is financing for house shelters as opposed to a normal property. But later on, a few months later, I found another shelter for sale, and I bought it with bridging finance. I then converted at a later stage when the contract finished, the shelter was converted into a block of flats that is currently let to minor asylum seekers. And from there, the journey really started, because then I started building a network of contacts with people working in the sector, the social housing sector. I have a good network of property developers, maintenance people. And then I thought, maybe this is not going to be the only shelter I'll buy, and I want to do more. And so I raised money from family and friends to buy a few more properties, which we usually buy at auction, renovate, and then let to charities that would be housing vulnerable tenants.
Fantastic. Obviously, that's when Bighous was formed, and is the focus of the activity for Bighous. What's happening at the moment? What are the plans for the next 12 to 18 months?
So at the moment, the current housing crisis has increased due to COVID. We've actually achieved 100% occupancy rate just through the COVID period, and we are, I would say, almost inundated by letters of intents and inquiries from charities that are looking to add additional beds and houses to support homeless people or vulnerable people. So we currently have 75 beds. We would like to double the number of beds by the end of 2021. And we're looking to do it through a combination of, hopefully, crowdfunding and then organic growth. So we usually buy the property distressed. We would refurbish it, increase the value of the asset, refinance the asset, and reuse the money for additional purposes. We would like to expand in Merseyside, where most of our contacts are. So looking to expand in Liverpool, Kirkby, St Helens, Wallasey, but then also moving south in Cambridge, where I've made contacts with a number of charities looking for properties as well for homeless people.
Fantastic. And as you say, the demand is never ending, really. And I have to say to our audience, I've seen the pictures and the interiors of some of these properties, and they're absolutely amazing. So, you know, there's certainly a great feel when homeless people are rehoused in there. Now, it seems a silly question given the client group that you work with, but in terms of the impact, what is the impact that you see Bighous has? Obviously, transformational for individuals.
Transformation. So in fact, that's in our purpose, the word transformation. We aim to transform lives through housing. And that was the idea when I was looking to buy that first shelter in Liverpool. I felt you cannot transform your life if you're living in an appalling condition. It's almost living in a street. You may live in a shelter, but it's still dirty, poor conditions, bad hygiene. So once a person lives in a house or in a home that we can really call home, that's when the transformation starts. And then where I would say the person will find the energy to do more, look for work, remove substance abuse. We usually partner with charities that not only just provide the shelter, but they have programs in place that help the person, well, with the obvious, dealing with any substance abuse, but then providing skills. So a lot of the charities we work, they will help to get, for example, a GCSE or some sort of education in place. We use our builders to provide training to some of our tenants so that they can learn how to be, for example, a bricklayer or an electrician. So we have trained 18 people in total since we started our journey, some of which have also worked in our properties as well. Obviously contractors on a contractual basis. We don't have really permanent staff until we grow. So we use our network to do all the work. Sure. But the idea is to not only get the house, but also get the means to become independent.
Absolutely, that's fantastic. And I think, you know, giving the people the skills, the confidence, the self-esteem to progress in their own lives is absolutely essential for the housing to be the foundation of their future, really. So, you know, really commendable work. Fantastic. That's great, Paolo. Thanks for that. Obviously, our audience are listening today. So what is it you think our audience could get involved with or support you with? How can they help?
Well, we are obviously, as I mentioned, looking to expand. So we are looking for either investors that can help support our growth or partners that can help deliver on our social impact goals. So partners that could be developers, partner that could be charities that know they have a housing need. And this can be outside the geographical areas that I mentioned. Ideally, we would like to expand nationwide. So if you are a charity and you're looking at this and you have a housing need for homeless, please get in touch with me or with Debbie. And really just like-minded individuals that would like to support us.
Fantastic. Listen, who couldn't get involved in what you're doing? It's absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure there's lots of our audience members out there who think, yeah, that's right up my street. If you would like to talk to Paolo, I'd be delighted to facilitate a meeting. My contact details are right at the bottom of the screen. It just leaves me to say thank you very much, Paolo, for your time this morning. And thank you to our audience for listening in. Bye now.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.